Jasmine Fielding, and you're listening to Broadway Babe 2000. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to be talking with you guys. I have two very special friends with me. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Jonathan.
Hi, I'm Alex.
So I've known Jonathan and Alex for a really long time, and they are really involved in the theater community. And I said, you know what? We're in quarantine. They're some of my really great friends. I haven't seen them in a while. They always beg to be on the podcast. So I said, let's bring them on. And here we are. So are you guys excited to be here?
Of course, Tiara. We've been waiting.
Tiara, I don't think I've ever been more excited for anything else in my life.
Thanks, Alex. I really appreciate your guys' support.
Did you hear that? No thanks to Jonathan. Just thanks, Alex.
Just thanks, Alex. But we've known each other for a really long time. We've all done community theater together. Alex, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself and your backstory, and the same for Jonathan.
My backstory with you or my backstory in life?
I guess both, or whatever you like.
Well, it was a snowy March day in 1999 when I was born. No, I met Tiara doing a community theater production of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. We played Mr. and Mrs. Bucket, so we sang Cheer Up Charlie to Charlie Bucket. And
should we give them a little rendition?
Yeah, let's do a little rendition. What do you want to start on?
Cheer up, Charlie.
Give me a smile.
Just
what happened to the smile?
And keep your dreams in view. I feel like you're singing the grandparent part.
I don't remember the show that much. All I remember is Tiara walking around backstage saying that her family met Bill Clinton or something.
They did.
Yeah, that's what I'm correct about that, right?
That's so weird that you remember that.
That's all. I don't remember a lot of things from that show, but I specifically remember you saying that your family met Bill Clinton. I was like, that's really cool because I really like Bill Clinton. But yeah, I met Tiara doing that, and then we weren't best friends doing that. We knew each other, but as we got into high school, we did shows like Rent and Hair, and we became really close during those shows.
That was still middle school.
No, Rent and Hair was not middle school.
Are you sure?
Do you think we did Rent and Hair in middle school?
That was the same year. That was 2015, 2016. So high school, I guess.
That was high school because we had parties afterwards.
And Tiara, you were Paula.
I was Paula in Rent.
Let's begin.
I'm Paula. Let's begin.
Yeah, so that's how I know Tiara. Tiara and I have seen many Broadway shows together. We used to go a lot in high school, but not so much anymore. But we do go to college together now.
Yes, we do.
We both go for theater, so it's like full circle, like the Mr. and Mrs. Bucket. Now we go to college together. Isn't that crazy?
We went on a fake date on Valentine's Day to see Girl of the North Country. Because
Girl from the North Country. Yeah, we did. We'll get into more of that later, though.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more later. Jonathan, let's get to know you.
I met Tiara in middle school. We both did Your Good Man, Charlie Brown. I was Schroeder. And Tiara was Girl with Notebook, I believe. So we were both equally good parts. So I met Tiara when I was in 8th grade and she was in 6th grade, and then kind of lost touch until high school when I was a junior, and then she came in as a freshman, and we had this thing in our little theater club where it's kind of like a sorority big little thing. So I was her big, so basically I just helped her get more involved and associated in the club, introduced her to a few people, bought her quite a few things, anyways, and then we became friends again.
Yeah, so I always have a really fun time with Jonathan and Alex. One time, Alex actually wore my mom's heels in a show.
That is true. We did a production of Hair. I played Margaret Mead. For those of you that know Hair, that is a character that's played by a man, but is a woman. And I needed heels, but no heels would fit me. I kept taking them from my mom and my sister, but they have very small feet. And not to brag or anything, but I have a very large foot. So,
side note, my mom does not have big feet. The shoes just happen to have elastic straps.
Yeah, okay. Sure, whatever you want to say. So I went to rehearsal, and I was like, does anybody have heels that would probably fit me? And a bunch of girls kept saying they did, but I was like, you all like have small feet, like that's not gonna work. And then Tiara was like, I think I have you. Like she thinks like, and then with these heels that were just magnificent, so I was able to fit in them perfect.
I have like size 8 feet, by the way, so like my feet aren't huge.
Okay, but I still found them. Okay, you know.
Yeah, you fit into them. They were good. They were cute. I still wear them sometimes. Actually, they're really comfortable.
They are. They were really nice and comfortable. I almost broke them one night.
Speaking of hair, our Broadway Bae of the Week, J. Armstrong Johnson, is a fellow member of the revival cast of Hair on Broadway. He was the original understudy for Claude for Gavin Creel, which is super exciting. He's gone on to do so many great things. I most recently saw him in Scotland, PA, at Roundabout Theater Company, which was so amazing and hysterical. I actually saw it on Halloween, so it was pretty spooky. Ooh. And yeah, it was. Ooh, ghost noises.
Editing ghost noises.
But it was pretty spooky. And funny enough, the musical is about Macbeth. And
what? Tiara, you can't say Macbeth.
I'm sorry, Alex. I thought you have to say it 3 times.
Tiara, that's Bloody Mary.
Or Beetlejuice.
So, Alex, say it 3 times and maybe he'll pop up.
Who, Macbeth is going to pop up if I say it 3 times?
Alex Brightman's just going to, like, pop his head out of the corner.
Oh, he's going to pop up and tell me not to bootleg his show.
Back to J. Armstrong Johnson. He's so amazing. In Scotland, PA, it's really amazing how they've made this musical out of a great play. And it's about the monopoly of McDonald's. So it's really funny. You wouldn't expect it walking in. And I just left there, like, dying of laughter.
I have a question, Tiara. I never got to see Scotland, PA, because I was in Florida at the time. But I heard that there was, like, a working McDonald's or something, like, during intermission.
Yeah. They sold french fries and, like, chicken nuggets at concierge.
Really?
At concessions, concierge.
Concierge?
Yeah. I mean, that show was just so great. And the night that I was there, 2 cast members of Mean Girls were sitting right in front of me, and I took a picture for them.
Yeah, so J. Armstrong Johnson, very cute, number 1. Number 2, unless I'm mistaken, this past summer I actually saw him Phantom of the Opera, and he was phenomenal. Yes, Tiara nodding, confirming that I did in fact see J. Armstrong Johnson. But yeah, he was super talented. And yeah, I love Phantom of the Opera, so him just being in it was just such a star quality in the show.
And it always comes back to hair with him, which is funny, because he came to my school, Jonathan and I's high school, when we were doing a production of Hair with this girl named Megan Paterno, who happens to be the Christine in Phantom of the Opera right now. And she was so amazing, and they're really close friends. And I have this really old picture that maybe I'll include in my Instagram collage of me with Jay and her, and I just think it's so funny because I look so like little. I look like a mess. My hair was not together that year. Like, she had growing problems. Doozy, and I just think it's so funny to reminisce because I really didn't know like where their careers had gone or who they were, because when they came in, it was like this lady Joan Dorman. You know who that is, Jonathan. She would come to our high school like every year.
For the opera?
Yeah, for the opera. And she would bring these singers, and sometimes she would bring kids right out of college, so we really didn't have any background. And then I remember Jay and her walking in, and he was like, I'm on Quantico, and like half the class was like crying, like freaking out. It was the funniest thing. So that's why I chose him to be Broadway Bae of the Week, because I was scrolling through my pictures on Facebook and it came up in my memories. So that's why. But yeah, he is cute. His boyfriend's cute too.
Oh, you just like threw that in there so I wouldn't get any ideas.
Yeah, Jonathan, he's taken. Sorry, bud.
Okay, thanks for letting me know, Tiara.
And you know what? I actually, while we're on the topic of J. Armstrong Johnson, I've been thinking recently about like my dream cast for the Hercules live action picture from Disney that's going to be coming out soon. Mm-hmm. And James Armstrong Johnson's one of my number one choices for Hercules.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would be so awesome. You know, he would also be so great in Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Oh, agreed.
Like, I would die. Do you have a story to tell, Jonathan?
Yeah. So whoever doesn't know, which is probably everyone that's hearing this, Alex, TR, and I, along with our friend Zach, actually saw Hedwig and the Angry Inch on Broadway when Darren Criss was in it.
What a nice way to segue, Tiara.
Thank you, Alex. But he really would be such a great Hedwig.
He would be really.
Oh, I agree.
He has a killer body, killer voice, great character actor. I would pay big bucks to see him standing on that podium. In
on
the
podium. Does Hedwig have a podium at one point?
Yeah, those things that I remember seeing Darren Criss just lift high in the air when he's singing, and he's all stripped down just in his underwear.
That's not a podium.
Yes, it's a podium.
It's a platform.
That's big right platform stick.
Yeah, a platform stick. But yes, so that is a funny story. If TR wants to start it off.
So basically, we were all in high school, and Alex doesn't go to my high school, but I had always known him to community theater. So one of our friends, Zach, we all got tickets, and they were all sitting together, and I was sitting in a different section because we bought them off Today Ticks, and I was kind of clueless about the whole situation. But it was actually Alex and Jonathan's first time meeting when we saw Hedwig, and it was just the funniest time because I was scrolling through Facebook photos earlier, and there's photos of Jonathan and I waiting on the train platform, going into the city. I captioned them, and there's photos of all of us under this platform in Times Square. That was a waterfall, that it was shaped like a circle, and it was just the funnest time. We went to juniors. That was the first time I went to juniors, I think.
So just to go off that, because the beginning of that kind of made it sound like we left Tiara out. So here's what happened.
It kind of did.
So Alex, Zachary, and I kind of planned to go to Hedwig together because both of them knew I loved Darren Criss. So at that point, Alex and I had not been in person, but we were in this big group chat together. And actually, the days leading up to that, Alex had this little countdown in the group chat, which was so sweet. Days not up until us seeing Hedwig, but up until meeting me. So I think that was the last time I felt loved. Anyway, but so TR had asked, because I don't know if Zachary had mentioned we were going, but she asked when we were going, what day, and also where we were sitting. It's not that we were leaving TR out. It's just that it was our plan. So before she lets you think otherwise, that's what actually happened. So then, yeah, so we went.
I was a clueless 15-year-old. I was just oh my gosh, yes, we're going to see Hedwig. These are all my
but the thing is, we weren't mean about it. We were just oh yeah, we already have our tickets, but go ahead and buy yours.
Yeah, even nicer than that. So it was fun though. We went in on the train together. We went to juniors together. And then we walked to the show together, and afterwards we're hanging out. But I noticed during the show. So first of all, TR asked the woman next to us if she could switch seats with her, to which the woman said no. TR got quite offended. But I noticed in the middle of the show at one point, I looked over at TR, who's sitting to the far left, and she was looking straight back at us. Not sure how long that was happening, but that was just a little funny thing from that day. And then afterwards, we went to the stage door and met Darren Criss, which is probably the peak of my life. I think I
have a picture, and I remember he came out of the stage door, and the bodyguard was no photos, no photos. And he took a photo with me, and I was oh, crap.
I think he took a photo with everyone.
No, that security guard, I remember him saying no photos.
I think he just said, have your phone ready.
I don't know. No, I'm pretty sure he did say no photos, but I don't think but I think that he was I don't know if that was Darren Criss's rule or if that was the security guard's rule.
I think the security, because everyone took pictures. I have a video of me next to him.
Yeah,
I have a video of me screaming.
I have a video of me giving him red vines, which is a Star Kid reference to any of you Star Kid fans listening to this. I gave Darren Criss a box of red vines, and he said that he didn't even like red vines, which was just so. Yeah, red vines are disgusting. If you like red vines and not Twizzlers, What's wrong with you?
It's
Red
Yeah,
vines,
I've never had a red vine.
red vines taste like how like baby powder smells.
with cinnamon.
I don't even think like the cinnamon is part of it. But anyway, no, Darren Criss was incredible in Hedwig. That was like what a performance he gave. And I saw Hedwig quite a few times, and especially his singing performance was just super incredible. And that show, like, I don't know, it was groundbreaking because it was like a concert musical, but it still won like tons of Tony Awards.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But,
and it's had such a variety of actors in it, from actual like Broadway stars to like television and movie stars, Neil Patrick Harris, Taye Diggs.
Yeah.
And it had a bunch of other people in between and after. So it's just really one of those flexible shows, which I really loved. And I mean, we were so young, so I don't know if we fully got to appreciate it, but for the time, it was like really sick.
That's true.
It was great. And you know, talking about how many Tony Awards that show won, I think, didn't we go to the Tony Awards at some point?
Did we?
That was a segue if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to figure out how to segue into that. We went to the 2018 Tony Awards, didn't we, folks?
Yes, we did.
Another event that we weren't seated together during, but we didn't know that we were going to be there is the thing.
Yeah, that all really happened like quick and crazy. And I was super lucky. I was seated like in middle orchestra near like all these famous people, so it was pretty crazy.
Ooh, you know, John and I weren't as lucky. We were in the front mezzanine though. That was really cool. We were in the front mezzanine.
That's pretty sick.
And you know who was near us? What's her name from Tina from Glee? Was seated right by us.
Yeah, Jenna Uskowitz.
Yeah, she was seated right by us in the mezzanine. So you know what?
You're about to say Michael Cera.
Michael Cera from no. Michael Cera was there though, and he was not nice to me.
I also think he was near us though. He was also in the mezzanine.
No, he wasn't, because he was nominated for a Tony, so he was in the orchestra.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
I believe you. Cut that out. I don't want to be wrong.
No, I'm keeping that in. But the Tony Awards were such an amazing experience. I mean, I got to meet so many people. I came in the VIP entrance, if you would.
Oh, she's VIP.
And Wesley Taylor was by me, a bunch of people, Lily Cooper. The whole cast of SpongeBob was like right behind me, which was like
snubbed.
pretty amazing.
Snubbed.
And I remember in the line, this guy behind me was like, so, which show are you reading for? Like, which musical do you want to win? And he was like, I'm going for the band's visit because a lot of my friends are like in it. And I was just like sitting there. I was like, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. I was like, don't say you didn't like the band's visit the most. I was like, just keep quiet.
The thing is, but that was the year for the band's visit. Band's visit won like every Tony except for, I think, won like every musical best Tony except for like best set design, which went to SpongeBob for the band's visit. So they were winning every award, which I mean, like, that was cool because like an artistic piece like the band's visit, you might not think to win because like there were so many splashy pieces that like Mean Girls and Frozen and SpongeBob were very big Broadway productions, but then you had a quiet and somber show like band's visit come in and just like take away every single award.
I mean, Frozen was really snubbed too. They barely got any nominations, right?
They didn't get a lot of nominations, but at least they got Best Musical nomination.
Contrast, because Harry Potter kind of swept in the play section besides actors, even though that, unlike Band's Visit, was such a spectacle, but it is kind of different because Harry Potter is kind of like a known story. So people were kind of going into it like loving Harry Potter and understanding that this is like a revolutionary, like you said, like magic show. Although I do understand Penn and Teller was also a magic show, a play on Broadway.
Or how about The Illusionist that came every Christmas? That was another magic show on Broadway.
Right. Or also like the Gazillion Bubble Show, now playing at New World Stages. But besides those,
I actually worked backstage at the Bubble Show for a few weeks when I was doing this convention, and I couldn't get the smell of bubbles out of my head for like a month after, and it was like the most disgusting smell. Like, it kind of makes you want to throw up, like, thinking about the smell. The amount of hard work that went into them cleaning that theater every night because the bubbles were everywhere. Like, it had a special floor and everything. I know it's a little off topic, but...
What were you doing backstage? Blowing bubbles?
No, it was for this festival for new musicals. And, yeah, I was blowing bubbles back backstage.
I don't know how this show works. I haven't seen
Isn't
it.
that
But
an
there
insult? Like, go blow bubbles or something? I feel like that's an insult.
But there was a really cute stagehand, a part of that show, who like explained to me the
Drop
cleanup
his name.
of the bubbles.
Maybe he's
I don't
listening.
remember his name.
Oh, couldn't have been that rememberable.
He went to Penn State.
Rememberable. So, like I was saying before, like Harry Potter was picking up like set design and all these other things, even though it was spectacle, unlike musical Band's Visit, which kind of was just more like a simplistic design and kind of story. But Harry Potter was a spectacle. People were going into it, knowing the story, loving the story. And just by even word of mouth, people were hearing, oh my God, there's so many effects and magic things. And even like us being in the audience, I'm still trying to figure out how they did a lot of the things.
It's really just remarkable. And what year was that, John? The 2018 Tony Awards. Because it's also interesting because like year prior in the 2017 Tony Awards for, I guess, let's say Best Revival, there were artistic shows like Falsettos, let's say, that didn't win for Best Revival, but then the big splashy show, Hello Dolly, did win for Best Revival. But of course that was because, it was Bette Midler. But it's weird to see that like throughout the years, sometimes the Tony Committee will go for a more artistic piece for the Tony Award, but then there's some years where they're like, you know what, let's take the big splashy musical and let that win. But
didn't Christian Borle or Andrew Reynolds win that year?
No, that was
supporting actor.
No,
nominated though.
Gavin Creel won that year for Hello Dolly.
Oh, he won for Hello Dolly.
Yeah,
and then I think Christian Borle was nominated for Best Actor, maybe, but lost to Benjamin Platt.
Yes, to Ben
Platt. Yes, Sir Benjamin Platt.
Talking about Falsettos, anybody hear about that reunion that's going on?
So Falsettos is having a reunion on May 7th, my sister's birthday.
Woo!
On Thursday night. It's going to be at 7 p.m. There's a bunch of links. I'll put it on my Instagram page at Broadway Babe 2000, and you guys could go visit it there. It's going to have mostly all the cast from the revival, and it's just going to be
I think it is the entire cast.
Falsettos so much, so I'm so excited to see the cast have a reunion. Andrew Reynolds, so amazing. Christian Borle, amazing. I just saw him in Little Shop of Horrors, and he was hysterical.
Oh, he was like incredible in that production. That was, I think, my favorite role. Him as a dentist was probably my favorite role I've ever seen him in. Also, like, I think he just won like an award for that, the Lucille Lortel Awards.
And J.M. Sean Johnson was also nominated for that.
Oh, bringing it back to Broadway Bae of the Week.
Broadway Bae of the Week,
But yeah, Falsetto, I'm so excited for that. Is it a Zoom meeting get together?
Yeah, it's going to be on Zoom, and I'm really excited. I don't think Seth Rudetsky is involved in this, surprisingly.
Ooh,
because I've been watching Stars in the House a lot, and I love that stuff. So I wonder if he's going to be hosting it or moderating it. But we'll see, I guess.
I would be fine if what's his name, the child, Anthony Rosenhall, just moderated the whole thing, because he was fantastic in that show.
He is very funny.
He's a great kid.
I think those were my... Oh, okay, you go.
No, go, Jonathan.
I think even though it was revival, but like I hadn't even like heard of it beforehand, because I actually went to Falsettos and like wanted to go to Falsettos because of Andrew Reynolds, who I adore greatly, who TR has actually met. I will say that before she goes into bragging about it. But I had gone because I do love Andrew Reynolds, and then I ended up loving it, and it was just like such a story that like we hadn't really heard before. Like we had just kind of like seen this crisis like on stage before recently. Well, not recently, but with Ren and just other shows like that. But it was just so cool to see it in this new light. And, I left the theater crying. So
I love Falsettos. Actually, what is it? A Marriage Proposal? That was my audition song throughout all of middle school and high school when I used to do
Proposal.
I don't do theater, and I mean, like, I'm still involved with theater, but I don't like perform anymore. But when I would audition for shows, A Marriage Proposal, that was my number one song. So I had like an idea of what Falsettos was before I saw the show, but boy, I wasn't ready for like how incredible that show was.
Yeah, that show is so amazing. Whenever I listen to the cast recording, I start bawling my eyes out.
Oh, Feel all right.
We just need one more Jewish person, and then we'll be 4 Jews in a room bitching.
You're right. Oh my God. Let's
Alex, introduce our friend Zach Hausman.
Or Alex Dash.
Life scientist.
Okay, let's do a little rendition of 4 Jews in a room bitching.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 Jews.
4 Jews in a room.
Oh my God, no, stop it now. Stop it.
At least we all chose the same key.
Yeah, that's what the problem was.
That was just amazing. But yeah, so what are you guys looking forward to after quarantine? I know I'm very excited to go see more shows with you, explore life.
You know what I'm excited for?
What?
I'm excited for Broadway to reopen and to make everybody go see the Company revival. Because I don't know if you guys saw it before Broadway shut down, but let me tell you, it's like Falsettos level incredible revival.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the original source material for Company, but they change everything about it. It's crazy how much they've changed about it. The whole show, there's a bunch of characters that are gender bent. There's other characters that aren't gender bent, but like their characters have changed a bit. The set design for the show is incredible. It has the same director as Angels in America, Marianne Elliott, and she just did an incredible job with like this. I'm sure there was a bunch of other set designers that helped out with it, but the set design is very similar to Angels, and it's just so incredible. I can't express how much I love that revival of Company.
Speaking of Company, a couple of weeks ago when like the coronavirus really started to pick up in New York, I had this nightmare that Laura Bell Bundy was in Company and that she was like sneezing on me because it was the day after she said she had the coronavirus. So for some reason in my dream, like I love Laura Bell Bundy, but she was just like sneezing on me in the theater, and I had to go to the bathroom, and Patti LuPone was like having a mask on stage. There's a huge bee by me. Oh my God. But it was just the weirdest dream, and I woke up and I was like, Laura Bell Bundy's not actually in Company. It's okay.
That's what made the dream okay.
Yeah.
Laura.
It's so crazy that you have those dreams because similarly, I have dreams, same caliber, where I'm actually being murdered all the time. So I'm glad both of our dreams are so great for us. That being said, once all of this is over, first of all, I'm very excited to be going out with both of you, going to Applebee's, getting those dollar drinks once TR is 21. But then also, I really want to see Six again because I saw it late February and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I guess we'll never know now unless there is a Tony Awards, but I guess it's going to be very different. But if Six would have been the best musical this year, or do you think it would have gone to a more artistic piece like Girl from the North Country? Yeah, Girl from the North Country. Do we think it would have gone to something like Six or Girl from North Country, or maybe Jagged Little Pill, or maybe it would have gone for the big spectacle like Moulin Rouge?
I mean, it's definitely hard to say, but I think in the past couple of years they've gone to more artistic pieces. Maybe they would have made a change and gone for something more like Jagged Little Pill, which is more of something in comparison to like Dear Evan Hansen.
Mm-hmm. But you also have to remember that is like a jukebox. That is a jukebox musical. So it's like they usually don't like to give best musical to jukebox musicals.
Yeah,
of course.
I just think the thing about Jagged Little Pill that made it so different is like the music just fits so well for the storyline, and it doesn't seem like a jukebox musical. It's something like Girl from the North Country.
You can't sound aggressive about it. It sounds
Girl
like you're just
from the North Country.
But something like Girl from the North Country, which is more artistic and has very good acting and a great storyline, but the music just kind of felt like plopped in there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think you and I discussed that, especially at intermission. Like, it didn't feel like a musical. It felt like a play that had a bunch of songs in it. A play with songs, which I don't know. Do you think it would have been classified as a musical, or do you think it'd be classified as a play?
I mean, in my opinion, I would have classified it as a play, but I think they are labeling it as a musical in the industry.
Okay.
But, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens with the Tonys because they were supposed to take place on June 7th. Obviously, that's not happening. Broadway is so closed. Half of the shows that would have been nominated for the 2020 season have not opened yet, or we're going to open the night that Broadway closed. 6 was going to open that night.
Yeah.
And Sing Street was due for the next, 2 weeks after that, and a bunch of other things. Luckily, I got to see the play Hangman, because now it's closed and it's not coming back to Broadway.
How upsetting.
The main actor, so hot, who's in that, Dan Stevens.
That's the real thing we need to worry about, not Corona.
Dan Stevens' eyes.
That someone that Tiara found attractive is not
no longer
from
Broadway.
Yeah, no, but what an upsetting thing.
What an upsetting thing.
Talking about just the coronavirus on Broadway right now, do we think that Broadway's going to be okay once everything reopens?
I personally think it's going to take a long time for Broadway to bounce back, because people are going to be scared to walk outside of their houses, let alone sit in a theater where somebody is touching shoulders to you.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
Do you think that there's going to be maybe even popular shows that will close? I doubt any show like Phantom or Hamilton or Wicked will close.
Yeah.
But then how about shows like Dear Evan Hansen, which are doing well, but really need people to be seeing the show for them to stay open, unlike bigger shows? Do we think that if Broadway reopens and no one's going to see shows, do you think a show like Dear Evan Hansen or maybe Mean Girls will just close because there's not enough people going to see it?
I mean, Mean Girls, I think they were already on the brink of closing, just in my opinion, because they were doing a lot of stunt casting. I mean, Sabrina Carpenter has a good voice and all, but there's lots of Broadway talent that has been
Cameron
trained
Dallas,
for that. I mean, Cameron Dallas, he tried. Good for him.
That's what matters. He tried.
He tried. That's all that matters. He went for it.
I don't know. I feel like if Mean Girls brought in Tina Fey, they could probably withstand a good 3 years out of that, most likely. I don't know, but maybe even on that topic, do we think shows will just start bringing in we'll just start stunt casting everything just so people have the drive to go see shows now? Because I'm sure if Hugh Jackman and Music Man does open, that will be the one show that really gets people back coming to the theater. So are we seeing a future in Broadway where a show Dear Evan Hansen is just bringing in big celebrities that no one would think would go into the show just because they?
I mean, Jordan Fisher is a bigger celebrity.
Yeah, but
he's not Hugh Jackman caliber and stuff. I just think it's going to take a little while, and we're just going to have to see how things go, because it's not people are going to want their temperature taken. They're not going to want to be freaking out about the people around them when they're supposed to be enjoying. And it's not feasible for the shows to open and there to be 5 people per each row that are spread out with 2 seats in between them, because then they'll just make no money unless the seats are over $3,000 each, which nobody's going to pay that much money.
Yeah, unless it's Hamilton, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if they paid that much for Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean, Hamilton original cast people were spending that top dollar to go to see.
I'll pay $10,000 to go see the original Broadway cast.
That's an idea, though. Imagine bringing back the entire original cast of Hamilton to come back for a couple weeks. That would be a nice way to get people to come. I doubt it could happen, but that would be a really...
Or even Dear Evan Hansen.
Or Dear Evan Hansen, yeah. Just big shows bringing back original cast. That could be a way to really regain...
And no matter what, half of these contracts for celebrities in stunt casting are over by the time that Broadway will come back. And people don't realize how long it's going to take for these shows to come back up. And how there's rehearsal processes that have to go on and new cast members, because things happen. People could not want to come back because they're scared. I mean, half of the Moulin Rouge cast had corona.
Yeah, that was scary. Yeah, that was scary. I read
basically all the leads had corona.
That's insane.
And it's just crazy, because I'm super thankful that I don't think I had it, because I was going into these theaters every day for work, and I was seeing these people, and I'm just so thankful that I wasn't affected, because you really don't know how it could affect someone. Either it feels like a little cough, it feels like nothing, or you die. So there's I know
how it is,
pre-med. To put it bluntly, that's how it is. It's scary how it could affect so many people differently. Just like this guy Nick, who is popular on Instagram through his wife Amanda now. And do you guys know what I'm referring to? There's this actor, and he's lost his leg. He had to have it amputated and a bunch of things. And thankfully, he's getting better, knock on wood. I wish him, like, good health. But it's just so crazy to see how it affected him because his wife was saying she literally dropped him off at the hospital thinking she would pick him up within the next, like, hour.
That's insane.
It's very upsetting, but we can all hope for the best.
Yeah. Broadway will get through this. And as I keep saying...
They got him through stuff before. Mm-hmm. They'll get through it again.
The lights of Broadway will shine bright.
Tiara Fielding, the spokesperson for Broadway.
You should name your autobiography. The Broadway Lights Will Shine Bright. Broadway Baby.
The story of Tiara Fielding.
My whole life. Jonathan, what's my marquee going to look like?
Oh, God, I don't even know. It's just going to be like a bunch of gold stars, like, scattered all over. Like, the marquee lights are going to be covered with golden glitter. What else? I think it's going to be, I don't know. I'm just thinking babies all over because Broadway Baby. So just like,
what's the name of your music? What's the name of your musical, Tiara? Is it just Tiara?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it your
Tiara
life?
Exclamation point.
Oh, I like that. Tiara exclamation point.
It's going to be purple with silver sparkles.
Oh, okay. So John was close.
Like 6.
Like 6.
Tiara is the next 6.
I am the next.
Tiara.
We really all do aspire to have careers in some form of communications or theater. So we really hope this will bounce back. We know it will bounce back. I'm always inspired by Theater Daily, and it's just made me who I am. So I'm not, theater's not going anywhere on my watch.
If Tiara has anything to do with
come up with a cure for coronavirus.
If Tiara has anything to do with it, Broadway will be back in 10 minutes.
Broadway's calling right now. Hello?
Broadway's back.
Tiara, we need your help.
Broadway's back. But yeah, seriously, theater is so amazing, and I know we will all be standing there the first night it opens. Jonathan, what do you want to see when you get back?
I'm just like really excited to see shows, but for now I'm like I'm happy that all these actors are getting a short break, or long break, depending on how long this actually lasts. But also how a lot of them are just continuing to speak out on social media, telling everyone to stay safe, and also a bunch of people just kind of keeping up the entertainment. Like I know Sam Pauly from Six is just doing a song every day by request, so it's cool to see actors just kind of doing that for the people who watch them. So I'm just excited to get back into it, see some shows with my pals Tiara and Alex, and not go to Juniors again because that's expensive, but maybe we'll stick to...
Juniors is not expensive. It's like $15 for grilled cheese and french.
Well, how much did you just say? $15 for a grilled cheese and french fries? I can make that
on Long Island, it's double the price.
Absolutely not.
Not at the diner.
No, if you want to go to On Parade Diner, yes.
It's not $15.
Shout out to On Parade Diner.
I swear to God, they're definitely like overcharging you because you're like, oh, is the grilled cheese $200? And they're like, oh yeah, sure.
No, the grilled cheese is $13.50 at Juniors. Actually, I know that for like a fact. That's how much I go there. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for coming. Is there anything you want to plug before we leave? Your social medias, anything?
Not really. Just everyone stay safe. Keep washing your hands. And yeah, my Insta's probably tagged on the Broadway Babe 2000 Insta. So yeah, whoever's listening, give me a follow.
Yeah, whoever's Lindsay
Mendez, give me a follow.
Whoever's listening, follow my Insta as well. I do stand-up comedy, so if you guys are interested in seeing that, just keep up to date with my Instagram.
Alex is pretty funny too.
I am. I had a show that had to be canceled because of Corona, guys, at Broadway Comedy Club.
I know. I had reserved tickets.
Yeah, I did too. That was so depressing.
You know, we're getting through it, and if, as I said, if Tiara has anything to do with it, Broadway's opening up soon.
And so are the comedy clubs.
So are the comedy clubs. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for coming. I love you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Love you, Tiara.
Let's say bye to the viewers. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, JR and Sean
Bye.
Johnson.
I was just about to say bye, JR and Sean Johnson.
Bye, guys. See you next week.